That is a microphone in a box, so basically the Q&A will work like you throw it to the next person. I guess it works well. You just talk into the companion queue thing? Okay. And without further ado, James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd!
What's up? What, from signing? Nah, it's more the neck. I guess you're always leaning over. Yeah. No, wrists are good. Yeah, let's just do the Q&A. Yeah, so you got Q's, we got A's. Yeah, Justin, you're always good at, like, getting the conversation going. So if you have anything that you would say?
Yeah, Justin.
I'm excited that we're in room F.
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
And I guess we'll say that there'll probably be some cursing in this panel, even accidental. So parents with children, I mean, if they're here, they already know, so that's fine. So I guess, who wants to start off with the Cube of Doom or whatever it was? Right here in the red tie, there you go.
There you go. DK.
James, big fan, nice to see you again. Oh, I'll say it earlier, but a few years ago, you did a series of videos called Most Unlikely Versus Battles.
Yeah.
Will that return someday? Because I would love to see more of that.
Thanks for suggesting. Yeah, that was really fun. I think we should do that sometime. Maybe on rental reviews. I'll bring it up. We have a big pool of topics we're going through to narrow down. But yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. So how it works is you pick the next person.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah. That was a safe choice.
I got more of a request than the queue. I know that you've been learning Japanese, and I myself am an aspiring polyglot, and I already speak 3 languages fluently, and I'm moving on to my 4th. I was wondering if you could, not to put you on the spot too much, but if you could say just a few words in Japanese, and maybe just talk about like how that's going for you.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I'm at kindergarten level when it comes to Japanese. I have a very long way to go. I have the whole kana alphabet's memorized, so I know katakana, hiragana. Now, of course, it's katakana. Most of the time, it's a foreign word, so it would be, if it's an English word or something, I can figure out what the word means. Hiragana, on the other hand, has to go through another step to translate it, because I could say it in Japanese, but it still doesn't mean anything to me unless I know what the word is. So it's sort of like translating it from one thing that I can't understand to something else I can't understand. But also kanji, I have like 200 characters memorized now, so I'm working on that. There's thousands. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to at least, get a lot of the common ones memorized. It's just something fun to work on. But the reason I'm doing written mostly just to read it, because with reading, at least for me, it's visual. I learn best visual, and I like to, when I read it, I can go slow and sound out each syllable and everything. When somebody's talking to you, it happens a lot faster. It's kind of harder, when someone's talking, like, oh, can you stop? I have to speak a little slower or whatever. But that's why I'm into reading more, because you're not going to have any, you're not going to. Somebody said it best. He said, you'll never get into an argument with a sign. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have any particular language programs that you're using that you'd recommend?
Some of them are apps. Some of them are like, like flashcard type of stuff.
Duolingo.
Things like that. There's a textbook I'm going through, stuff like that, yeah. I have a long way to go.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say that the AVGN kanji shirt, the katakana kanji shirt for that, actually came from, I went over to James's house and he had the books out and he had mentioned that he was working on Japanese. And I said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we made that? And then Kieran actually did the design and we consulted one of our friends in Japan to get the little accents and everything right so that
Yeah.
it would actually be angry with the nerd.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you would ever, in Japanese, you'd never write it
It's
down.
very phonetic.
But for like, it's like, you know, Americanized Japanese, like for a shirt, it makes sense. It's just for fun.
I think it basically says in Japanese, like, Angudi video game dado.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Cool.
Alright, I guess through the queue.
All
You
right.
can go as far as you want, you can beam someone, it's up to you.
Right?
That's it? Alright, cool. This is for the nerd. There's an episode of Mailbag I saw years ago, your mailbag, and I got obsessed with this idea. I can't capture it, but I need to know. How can I live like a windrammer? Did you get any like more emails from that crazy dude?
Yeah, that one caught on. That guy was funny. Like, I mean, it's like a character that he plays.
Okay.
But he wrote me a series of emails that were really funny like that. They're funny because they make no sense whatsoever. But the way he combines words is unlike any other. Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. I'll
Yep.
leave it to ask.
Oh, yeah, see, everybody just throws it. Who's got the box?
There
you go.
He shifted one of
Throw
them.
it back. Throw it backwards and see where it goes.
Wait, hold on, he hasn't answered much yet.
Oh, yep.
Hey, quick question. As you've gotten older, have you noticed that it's become, I guess, more difficult to instill that anger that you had when you were younger?
In the videos?
Yeah.
No, not really. I just turn it on when it happens. It all depends on the game, depends on the script. It's just acting basically. So I guess that's just what you do. You just turn it on and there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, just launch it back.
Oh, you got somebody.
Hello, this is for the nerd. Since you're kind of an authority on the subject, where would you say is the current, I guess, borderline for what a retro game is now?
Borderline for retro. I don't know. I don't really think there is one out. I think of it as like Nintendo 64 era, somewhere like in there was one of the last retro ones. I mean, you could still say GameCube is retro.
I think I'd go out on a limb and say it's like the PS2 generation, like PS2, Xbox, GameCube.
Yeah.
I feel that way. GameCube feels old.
It's like the word classic. Like, how old does it have to be classic? It's such a loose term. Yeah.
Hello?
Oh.
Hey.
Like, no one realizes that it actually works every time they
Yeah.
This is actually a suggestion for the rental reviews. Two movies I think you guys should review. The FP and the Sasquatch game. They are hilarious.
The FP and Sasquatch.
Yeah. Or Sasquatch game.
Oh. Alright, yeah, we'll definitely look them up and see that. I've heard of FB before, but.
Okay.
So it's another Bigfoot movie. Do you know how many of those there are? A lot.
It's a little different.
All right, let's see that box.
Hi,
I got handed one over again.
some of my favorite episodes.
Oh, did you just hand? Okay.
Include Kyle and Justin. Will the guitar guy have any future episodes with him included?
Oh, Kyle Justin. Which episode was your favorite? Ikari Warriors, maybe.
Yeah, Car Warriors.
I love that. That one we were having a lot of fun.
Screw guns.
I did see when Kyle and I did the Battletoads episode. That one was so funny, and I thought it was like he was really good in that one, and I thought we were never gonna top that. I just thought like, okay, well, like I don't know. Then we did Ikari Warriors. I was like, well, it's got to be as funny as the the Battletoads one, and I think it was even funnier. It was
Will he have a future cameo?
What's up?
Will he have a future cameo anytime soon?
I don't know. I'm really not sure, to be honest. Right now, we don't have any plans because I think with the Ikari Warriors, I don't want to repeat the exact same thing, but yeah, that one.
It's probably definitely a possibility. I mean,
Yeah,
we
he's
could-
also very, very busy guy. He has 3 kids and very busy with his family. I know that.
Hi, Sorry, you two. I know everybody's giving the nerd questions.
No, that's probably not the best.
Anyway, here's a question for the nerd. When you're making an episode, what are the things that an AVGN episode absolutely needs, like to be like to qualify as an episode?
What are the requirements? That's the question?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's really any requirements. I think it just has to be. Yeah, go for it.
You need to have you in it.
Okay.
That's number one.
Yeah, I think the obvious things.
I think it needs a game that evokes an emotional response
Yeah.
when you play it. Like a game just can't be bad for the sake of being bad. It has to be bad because it causes anger or frustration or something like that. Like if it's just like, it's whatever. And I think a lot of the best episodes that you made had to do with like the feeling of the control. Like it feels like a lot of times like something you can't express visually, it's more like primal to what it is.
Yeah, and then it can be, like on a rare case, it could be a good game with a different spin. As long as there's just something to say, something that inspires.
Yeah, I think that's it, because I was going to say probably like the nerd outfit, but in RoboCop, you weren't wearing it.
Or a target.
Or a target.
There's never been a time limit either. Like there's been episodes that were 7 minutes, there's been ones that are 40 minutes. That's one thing, so it seems to me like it doesn't really have a lot of boundaries. But I can divide into maybe 3 types of them, where there's the ones that are like about the console, or it's about like a history lesson, it's very informative. Then there's the ones that are just like analyzing or ripping apart like one game. And then the other one is something more like cinematic, you know.
I think it's amazing that something like Super Mario Brothers 3 could be in the same series as something like Super Pitfall.
Yeah.
Or, you know, something that's like qualitatively bad.
Yeah.
But you know, it works because of the narrative structure and the writing and everything.
Well, let's see if we get the box over there if you're good.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah, if you can cross the aisle with it, yeah, here we go.
Hi, huge fan, just want to let you know. Sorry for fangirling outside back there. Sorry. The movie reviews that you've been doing, like underrated action movies and Demolition Man, they were amazing. I loved them. I'm a huge VHS file. So my question is, would you guys be doing Schwarzenegger reviews in the future? Because I love that, like Commando, Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we already did Commando, I want to do Last Action Hero. We talked about doing a Stallone versus Schwarzenegger like character, like kind of like versus.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Rambo versus Commando.
Rambo Commando.
Yeah, so there's
Something Terminator related too. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to do something Terminator related when the new one comes out this year. Like, what was it called? Dark Time or something weird like that?
Oh, did they?
It's Dark Terminator Dark Fate.
That's what it's called.
That's what they're calling it.
Thank you for not calling it Terminator.
I remember we had a debate internally whether they were going to call the movie just Terminator or The Terminator or somewhere in between. I'm glad it has a title.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely, Schwarzenegger is very dear to our hearts. I was thinking Hercules in New York. There's too much. Yeah, so but yeah, eventually, yeah.
Thank you guys, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. I guess this is a question just for James, but I don't actually know. I'm curious about the rental store in your house and that whole collection, because you did a video years ago showing us like as you were pretty much building that store, but now it's to an even bigger point. So I'm curious about where that whole collection comes from, and if you're still putting stuff together now, still going out and getting things on eBay or in any kind of stores.
I actually don't collect much anymore. I do sometimes, especially if I need something specific for a video, but it really outgrew the room as much as it can. Like, I have like tapes everywhere. I have them in my attic. I have like all kinds of nooks and crannies where I'm just trying to find space to put things. And so I'm not looking to expand it anymore unless I get rid of some of it. But I mean, I would never throw any of it away, but I'd have to like either give it away or put it on eBay or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, no, the collection is so big that I have to slow down you know, with that kind of stuff.
What about those things like the cardboard standees that you have from actual video stores?
It would be cool, but I wouldn't have any room to put any of those. I have some video game stuff, like I have like the Punch Out, the Mike Tyson stand up. I have the E.T. Atari one, but a lot of that stuff at this point, like it was in the way, so I have it stored away, like it's in my attic. So all that stuff I keep safe, and then I could always bring it out when you need to see it for some reason.
I know we were talking about having a second rental store location because we want to.
Oh yeah. We're thinking about having a portable one we can bring to conventions.
Yes,
and it would basically be, it would be like two panels of you know, 2 sheets of wood paneling, and or 3 or 4 maybe, I don't know however much we need to fill up the shot, and then we would attach the papers, you know, the VHS boxes without the, you know, the cassette in them, and just basically glue them or attach them to the paneling, and then when we want to, we come to the convention, and as long as we can fit it in a vehicle, we just set it up against a wall or something, and we could do.
Have you heard about Slashback Video here in Los Angeles? It's like an art exhibit where they
No.
You guys should check them out and like maybe ask them about it. They've brought it to conventions before, and they just set it up like a video store, and then they have a pop-up location.
Oh, nice.
I know there was the one store that was just Jerry Maguire tapes.
Oh yeah. It wasn't that.
Everything was terrible, guys.
Really?
But you know, because I also thought of like building a bigger set just because it's kind of tough sometimes. Like that looks like it'd be like in a mall. You know, you could have fun with it. To go, it's next to Funko Land in Orange Julius. You know, like.
Hey, so it's probably about 40 minutes away from here on Sunset Boulevard. Who's been to Amoeba Records? Yes.
Wow.
It is amazing. It is the biggest record store ever since, like bigger than this room. Is records wall to wall, and then there's an upstairs with a balcony, and up there they have VHS and laser discs. And I've never even seen laser discs for sale anywhere on the planet except Amoeba Records. Yeah, so check that out if you get a chance.
Hey James, I just got a quick question.
Yep.
Whatever happened to Rocky Jumped at Park Bench? Because one of my friends is going to Philly, and I wanted to refer the video to her, but it's nowhere to be found.
I reposted it finally. I had to change all the music and everything, so now it's like Eye of the Tiger, sound-alikes and stuff like that. It's not on the main channel either. It's on a separate channel called Cinemassacre Film Locations or something like that.
Okay.
I actually forget the name of the channel, but look it up. If you look up Rocky Jumped at Park Bench, as far to my knowledge, it's up still, but MGM is very strict about anything. I don't know why. For some reason, MGM is always, you know, a problem.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey.
So, being a person who loves, the Godzilla series and all that stuff, I haven't watched them yet, but how do you feel about the Netflix cartoon series? Do you recommend them? Have you seen them?
I haven't been able to get through the Netflix Godzilla series yet, the anime ones. Because to be honest, I watched half of the first one twice, the same half twice. I wasn't able to get through it. I just wasn't interested, so I always think to myself, okay, I'll watch it again when I'm more in the mood to see it, because I think I just wasn't in the right headspace. And I don't know, there's something about it, I just can't get into it. I think when it comes to animation, I was expecting something crazier. I thought there'd be more Godzilla action, and it seems like it's just like people in space for most of the film, which is like Godzilla versus Monster Zero, but still with animation, I thought there'd be like no limits. You get your monsters, you get everything happening, and it's a little bit more reserved. I mean, Godzilla doesn't start to appear until later, but I don't know. I want to give it a chance. I want to actually really watch it, because now there's the second one. I think there's another, right?
I think so. I haven't seen it. I've been kind of seeing it constantly.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to get around to that.
So what about the new movie that's coming out? Are you interested in that?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see that. The new film, is going to have Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mothra. So that should be cool.
So do you think I'll do a review?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try for sure. Yeah.
Justin went through a time period where the only music he played in his office for like 6 months was the Shin Godzilla soundtrack.
Oh, really?
And every time I would walk by, it was just
Shin
Godzilla.
Well, Shin Godzilla is my favorite Godzilla, which I know is like kind of heresy, but just from like an anime background, I just really like that one a lot.
Hey, hi. My name is John, and first I just want to say thank you to all of you for all the years of excellent content.
Well, thank you.
And it's helped me through a lot over the years, so thank you for making it. One of the recent views I had of rental reviews is when you were talking about gory films, the goriest films of all, and I deliberately remember there was not a glowing recommendation for Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, okay.
And I defied it and watched it anyway, and I didn't know. So, do you think all your time as portraying the character of the nerd, where you're saying, you know, shit on this, that when you actually do give a earnest recommendation not to do something, people go ahead and do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the whole premise of the HVGN movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the movie, the AVGN movie, was inspired by the irony of the fact that a nerd reviews a bad game, tells you not to play it, and then people go out and play it. You know how many people today brought me Jekyll and Hyde on the cartridge? You could raise your hands actually if you have Jekyll and Hyde. But I see those games come through so often. I've signed so many of them. It's funny. It's funny when I actually saw somebody that's completely random. I was on vacation somewhere and I saw somebody had a Jekyll and Hyde NES bumper sticker on their car. I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah. Hey.
I have a question about one of my favorite episodes you ever made of Fort James. What the heck was going through your guys' mind when you made the Dog and You episode?
What was going through their mind when they made the game? Yeah, I mean, that one just spoke for itself. It said, okay, look, this is what it is. There's nothing more to say about it. It's a game where a dog takes a crap, and that's it. So that video went no more than, 2 minutes long or something? It's like, what do you say? It's like, there you go.
Was the game fun?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You didn't play it?
There's nothing to play. It's just the dog craps and that's it.
Could have been a hidden gem. You didn't know.
Let's get this cube far back in the room soon, because they're so sad back there. Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so yesterday I was watching the Resident Evil Survival review. It's actually one of my favorite ones now.
Yeah.
I got a question now. When you were doing the segment where you were running away from, self-destruct, you were finding a toy zombie and a toy tyrant. Was that the original plan of just having the toys, or you actually do something else with it?
Those toys are in Kieran's office all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the green screen part.
Yeah, generally speaking, when it comes oh, we can try this and try that. Originally it was oh, let's try and do a claymation style, and then it just ends up us banging action figures together on the green screen. It's usually what happens.
All right, yeah, give a good toss. Well, after you, give a good toss back. Yeah.
2 questions, James. First off, are you going to make an animated AVGN movie? And second question, for the movie reviews, are you going to, if possible, you can do a crossover with Red Letter Media?
So I was just thinking about the first question. I'll do the first one first. Did you asked if I'm going to make an AVGN animated film?
Yes. Preferably traditional.
Yeah, there's no solid plans, but I've always thought about it. I've always had that on the table. I've thought about making the first one animated, because I think when we were making that, I was like, you know what? This is so insane, this is so hard to make. This would be easier, not easy, but it would be easier to do it animated, because at least you wouldn't have to leave your office to do it, you would just do it on your computer. Or sound studio, wherever you need to go. But I mean, it would be so much easier to do it animated than it would be to do a live action, have all these special effects and all this stuff. So I almost thought of it the first time. What was your other question? That was a crossover?
Crossover with Red Letter Media.
Oh yeah, Red Letter Media would be great to do a crossover for. So yeah,
I guess we would have to head to Milwaukee. Like I don't know.
Are they Milwaukee? Okay, yeah.
I know we've had conversations with them, but nothing concrete.
Okay, yeah. No, we've had contact. Yeah, nothing solid yet. I guess one of us would have to travel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess try and launch that thing back there.
Getting there.
James, are you going to do more movie location videos in the future?
Another movie location video?
Yeah.
I'd love to, yeah. I don't know which one it would be yet. It would really depend on what do I have access to and what hasn't really been done too much. I don't know. I've had some in my head, but nothing solid yet.
Are you visiting any locations now when you're in LA?
Oh, this time? Yeah. Not on this trip, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's keep launching back.
Launch it back to the
1-4.
No,
go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's hard from here. I don't know who passes it sometimes. When it passes, I'm like, wait, who's talking? Who's talking? Where is it? No.
Okay.
Go for it. Yep.
So how do I start this? So I just want to first and foremost say thank you, because some of my best memories growing up were watching your YouTube videos. And it really inspired me to make my own YouTube channel, and I get it, it hasn't gotten the following obviously. But it still encouraged me to the point where I've actually made an appearance on national television. I did an interview, and I believe that your videos, all the series you've done, inspired me to be a reviewer, commentator. It's honestly done a lot for me. And I don't think I can put this in words, but thank you so much for making my childhood awesome. That's the best way I can do it.
Thank you too. Much appreciated. Thanks for the kind words. Always means a lot to me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And one comment. How do you feel about the fact that your Virtual Boy review inspired me to buy Virtual Boy when I was 12 years old?
Oh yeah, huh? So you're 12 when the episode came out?
I was like 11 or 12. I actually bought one because I found out about it through your series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Here's a question.
Wow.
Did you start wearing glasses right after that? Because we're not responsible.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But
okay.
my folks always tell me, was it because of that Virtual Boy that you needed to wear glasses afterwards? But yeah, I did beat Mario's Tennis. Like, I beat the whole game, so maybe that explains why I wear glasses now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for everything. What can I say? Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Let's head back.
It's really funny to think that, like, back then I thought, like, who would buy a Virtual Boy? And I never knew, if someone would have told me one day someone will buy a Virtual Boy because of you.
I mean, if it means anything, I did buy all 14 games from your
all
review.
14, yeah.
Yeah, I have the whole collection. But
Yeah.
But I have two questions. The first one, what's your opinion of Simon, Richter, Belmont being in Smash Ultimate, being able to fight Mario, Mega Man, that stuff?
Simon, Richter, Belmont?
They're in the new Super Smash Brothers game.
Oh, okay, both of them?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, okay. That's
And,
pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, and my other one, how did you get the child actor from Home Alone for your review?
Macaulay Culkin and I have a lot of mutual connections, which is kind of funny that a lot of friends of mine have always been in touch with them, or have known them or worked with them over the years, and now the Bunny Ears podcast. I know like at least 2 people right now who work with them. And also, like, he's watched my videos for a long time now.
That must be an honor.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I never thought we'd end up doing a video together, but when he was doing the Bunny Ears podcast, after he started that, we started talking about the idea of doing a collaboration. So yeah, why not? Yeah, Home Alone.
And,
Which is really funny because I would have always thought first time I meet Macaulay Culkin, I'm not even going to talk about Home Alone. I'm just going to, I'll talk about anything else, just keep it, just general,
That's cool.
No, then instead I end up reenacting the entire trap scene from Home Alone. That'd be like going to Michael J. Fox and saying like, hey, you want to do some skateboarding?
Actually, can I ask one more question? Because the first one was so short. What are your thoughts on Reggie Fils-Aimé leaving Nintendo?
My thoughts on what with Nintendo?
The president of Nintendo America is leaving and they're replacing him after 15 years.
Is that Reggie?
Yeah, Reggie.
Reggie. Oh, so Reggie's leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. What is he, just retiring or?
Yeah, he's retiring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They put it in Doug Bowser.
Yeah, the guy who replaced him, his last name is
Bowser.
Bowser, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for answering.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Hi. So what happens to retro whenever everything goes digital? You think there'll still be retro, or is like physical media is kind of dying out? Is that like?
You mean will there still be physical media?
Well, I guess so, because you can't have retro with digital, can you? It's like, is that even possible?
It depends what you mean. I think like with retro, watching a retro movie like streaming or something, that like obviously there's always got to be some kind of technology to keep the retro coming, or else the older the original, like either the hardware or the player or whatever it is, it's eventually going to be harder and harder to access. I'm not sure if that answers the question.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a physical media thing, but it
Yeah.
seems like retro it's more tangible.
Yeah.
And it means more because you can hold it in your hand.
Yeah.
It's like games and stuff whenever they go out.
Yeah, it definitely does. But with that said, it is a lot easier to watch something on streaming. Like sometimes even for me, and I know I'm the physical media guy, but even for me, it's becoming difficult to because I have this whole room full of DVDs and stuff, and a lot of times instead of buying something physical, sometimes I prefer a digital version. Not so much with movies. With movies, I'm not really sure how to start a digital library. That's the only thing that's holding me back. It's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to have it on iTunes Movies, or do I want to do Amazon? How do I want to start building a digital collection? Because right now it's like there's so many different things that I switch back and forth to. So typically I just try to rent whatever it is I watch.
I definitely think that one of the things you should do if you like to have tangible products and things like that is support some of the companies that are doing it and support developers that are making their games capable to be preserved. Like, for instance, Retrobit right now is publishing all the Data East stuff back on new cartridges. Capcom's doing their anniversary collection with Mega Man X and Street Fighter, and even like the game that I'm working on right now, Eagle Island. One of the things that we did was we made sure that the game would still run when the leaderboard servers went down, so that if you preserve that, if you had a physical copy, if you had something like that, you would be able to have that experience 20, 30, 40 years from now when the Switch's servers for leaderboards and things don't exist anymore. So I think it's developers and then supporting the brands that are making the titles that you care about.
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. When the Switch's leaderboard shut down eventually and we all died. Great, thanks.
Hi, this is a question for the nerd. If you ever do make a sequel to the AVGN movie, would it be Sword Quest?
Yeah, it would always have been Sword Quest. That was always the thought, or it would be, the sequel would have been Sword Quest, but I'd rather do a horror film instead. There's also another idea, which it was going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we were just going to do all the like the Howard Scott Warshaw games, and say that he actually hid clues to the Ark of the Covenant in in the Raiders of the Lost Ark game. We even filmed a cliffhanger. The movie originally ended on a cliffhanger, or it was going to be like a post-credit scene. But we already had the ET review at the end, and it just seemed kind of like, all right, well, how many endings are we going to have? Let's just, you know, get it done with.
Thank you. Now let's let's throwing that thing back.
All right. So James, I've been a huge fan of your Cinemassacre movie, was it Monster Madness? I just want to know, since now you're doing like less reviews, what are like sort of like the protocols to pick the movies to do when you actually get to it? Because there's one movie I'm surprised you never got to review. I would love to see a review.
On Monster Madness?
Yeah.
Movie that I wish that we did that we didn't do yet.
No, I mean, just man, what do you do to pick a movie to have it for the mud?
To pick it, when I was scripting them, it was all about like, I need to have enough to say about it to write a script. But before, they were really short too, because if it was 31 videos in a month, the idea was to try and keep each of them like 2 minutes or something, but a lot of them went over time. And now we've been doing more unscripted stuff lately, so now that kind of changes the criteria for what I'm picking. Now I don't really have to be able to say as much if I'm talking with somebody else, like on rental reviews. I don't have to worry about filling like, you know, a whole page on something instead, because I know the other guys will have stuff to say too, and that'll help keep the conversation going and fill the time so there isn't like, you know, I mean, you don't have as much structure with unscripted stuff because it's more spontaneous or anything, but it's also, it makes it more possible to cover a lot of movies because you cut out a lot of time with having to do the script. So on one hand, so like scripted videos I usually prefer because it's more detailed, it's more researched and everything, but it's a lot more fun for me and like a lot easier to produce when it's like a conversation type video.
Yeah, because I would love to see you review the movie Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
That's
like the robots.
That's like the one I'm surprised you never got to do for Monster Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my one friend, who's Protector 101, does like music. He like redid the whole soundtrack and they put it on vinyl and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to do Chopping Mall because that might be a good first one to do if we ever do the mall set. Have like killer robots coming.
Wait, the mall set?
Because doing like another rental review set that looks like a mall.
Oh, okay.
Because that might be easier than doing wood. I haven't thought too much about it yet, but I always want to do like a mall store.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's so fun. Hi. Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so what is your favorite episode to make, and what inspired you to make that episode?
Of Nerd?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite Nerd episode, I think still is Rob the Robot. Very close, because sometimes Polybius was one of my favorites. Mega Man, Earthbound, they're all pretty high up on the list. But I think Rob the Robot, I think what inspired me was just the fact that it's a robot. It's like, first of all, it's a character, but like, what do you do with it that hasn't been done? What do you do with like artificial intelligence, like the idea of something coming alive, you know? And then I just said, well, what does the robot want? And it's like, well, the robot, he wants every game to be gyromite and stack up, and wants to, like, so it was kind of, it was a fun plot. You know, it was cool to write a story about it.
One more thing, like, my friend with the jacket is here, and he's obsessed with you, and he made you a jacket.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to give it to you.
Oh, well, I'm right here, so yeah.
Yeah, this jacket.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's beautiful. Anyone have any other textiles or? What's that?
Oh, that's cool. Gabe over there. Yeah. It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, just go for it. Wherever you're at. Hey.
Oh.
How you doing?
Good.
You got a question?
How many games do you have?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's a lot. I've never counted. I'm really not sure. I know that NES alone, there's probably like 800 on there. But a lot of them are like unofficial games. Yeah, that's just NES. I've never came anywhere close to counting.
I think it's something upwards over 5,000. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe one day I'll count them. I mean, it'll probably take a while, but I've been asked that question pretty often, so maybe one day I'll do it.
Here's a fun game. Start watching AVGN episodes and watch as James constructs more and more shelves.
Oh yeah.
More and more games as it goes on.
Yeah.
Until the entire backdrop is just shelves.
Yeah, there's like posters.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright, next cube.
A question for the three. Which movie you see it over and over and you still find new details or new plot points that you like to see?
Oh, I'm sorry, one more time?
Every time you see a movie, you see it more than one time and you still find new things.
Oh, okay, a movie that you see more than once and you find new things each time?
Yes.
Yeah, lots of them. I think we were talking about Plan 9 from Outer Space. I brought it up to the guys. I was like, maybe a run review sometime, because it'll be its 60th anniversary. But that's really like a movie where it's all about like find all the flubs or find all the things that are wrong with it. And there's so many just interesting, like just weird like little things. Like I never noticed until I saw the Riff Tracks version that there's a scene where the guy enters the car through the passenger door. And you look at it and you're like, wait, why did he do that? Why did he go in the passenger side? And it's something I've never thought of. Meanwhile, in that exact same scene, he says, oh, be sure to leave the urine lights on. I'm like, wait, urine lights? Like, did he just say urine? Rewound it like 10 times. Like, he says urine lights. Put the subtitles on. He says the yard lights. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I listen to it again. Be sure to leave the urine lights on. It's like, well, who says yard like urine?
I guess for me, every time I watch Total Recall, I see something different and weird, and I don't know, like, it's tough.
Well, I could say that I've been falling asleep to the John Wick movies these past couple weeks, and I keep waking up at different parts of the movie, so it's a new experience every time. I don't know why, I've just been doing it,
really,
but they're great. Yeah.
But that's not. Here we go. I thought I was gonna hit the camera.
Does it still work? Okay. Originally only had one question. Blame the virtual boy question asker for the second one I came up with.
Yep.
First one, some of my favorite episodes were around when I first discovered the Nerd series would be the Castlevania marathon, as I was getting into it around 2013 thanks to a friend of mine. But kind of disappointed that you stopped at Symphony of the Night and only summarized the later ones for some of my favorites.
Oh, in the reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, would you ever consider covering some of the PS2 or Game Boy Advance ones?
Yeah, well, I talk about Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait of Ruin in there a little bit, but at that point it was like 4 videos and there was like so much. So I kind of think like the retro games are the ones that where I call them retro kind of end with Symphony of the Night, because then it began like a new type of Castlevania game after that, like the non-linear Metroid style ones. So that kind of seemed like a good stopping point. The videos were about the retro ones, you know, the linear, like side-scroll ones, you know, the ones that were mostly linear, you know, for the most part, they were linear. But Mike and I tend to try and do Castlevania stuff on the Monday videos. So we just recorded another one recently. It's Chronicles. which it was on a Japanese computer. Does anybody know the name of it? What? X68,000.
X68,000. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we did. We didn't do it on that. We did the PlayStation version of it. Yeah, there's always a lot more Castlevania to do.
And the second one that is related slightly to the Virtual Boy one. The last game covered in that set, Jack Brooks. Are you aware it's a part of a bigger franchise?
Oh, Jack Brothers?
Yeah.
No, I didn't really know anything about it. All I knew was that it was the one game on Virtual Boy that didn't come out in North America.
Funny thing is, it's a spin-off of Persona's parent franchise, Shin Megami Tensei,
Okay.
which started on the Super Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
Just figured I'd ask about that since I'm a master. Toss in the cube.
Oh, there we go.
I'm really impressed that when it lands, it's not making like noises.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Like several of those.
Right, someone hold up, hide the cube.
We're taking that one first.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah, okay, you hear me? Okay. Hi, it's kind of cool, James. It's kind of cool that you review a lot of retro games as a nerd. Although, lately you've been starting to review some more modern games. Are we gonna see more of that often, or are you gonna keep reviewing some more retro games?
More modern games coming out?
Yeah.
It might be. It really just depends on, can it be covered in an episode? Is the game too long, or there's too many things that you want to get into? Is it something the nerd, the character would play? Is it I don't know, it just depends on what the game is. There is a modern one that I played recently that was horrible. I'm like, oh my god, this is like big rigs. I won't say what it is yet, but I'm thinking that might be her episode. Not sure yet.
I know that, we sat down and trying to figure out what we're doing this year. And, of course there's NES on there, but there's, I think one PS4 game on there. Because we need to, as you got to kind of get some of the younger audience. And I think there's a PS3 on there one as well. But then a lot of the classic stuff.
Yeah, the comment I wanted to make is look at the nerd at the end of this year as to what was played, and you be the judge yourself.
Hello. Hi. Great to be here. One question I always get: when you were a kid, did your parents ever take away your console from you?
Oh, did my parents ever take what from me?
Take away your console while you're playing too much?
Oh, take away the consoles?
Yeah.
No, not that I remember.
Mine just took the power bricks.
Yeah. There you go. That's smart.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for coming in over the weekend. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come by to this expo.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes is actually one that you did not too long ago, which is the Polybius episode.
Yeah.
So I always was fascinated by the backstory of that arcade, and I was wondering, do you have any other gaming urban legends that you would like to cover?
If you have any ideas of more urban legend type games, either about a game that may not exist, like Polybius, or an urban legend attached to some kind of existing game, or anything, send me an email, james@cinemassacre.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Sure.
Which do you think is better, King Kong or Godzilla?
Oh, King Kong or Godzilla? Well, that's tough. I think King Kong was my favorite of the films, the film itself, the original Kong. But the monster, I think Godzilla is more. He's more fun to me because he can't be killed. He's just indestructible, and how he always goes up against another monster opponent that is way stronger than him. Ghidorah has 3 heads, and shoots fire and lightning, and Godzilla is just like, I don't care if you have 3 heads, I don't care what you got, I'm taking you down.
Good catch.
Hey, this is more of a suggestion than a question, but lately on the James and Mike Monday videos, you guys have been doing like game challenge type stuff. I would love to see you guys do, on the original Super Mario Brothers, there's a Game Genie code where you enter stage O, and it gives all of the enemies hammer brother physics, and they throw hammers as well. I would love to see you guys try to get through that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's like the most bizarre thing, but I'd love to see you guys do
I don't know if I heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to tell Mike about that one.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Cool.
Funny, I literally was going to do a James and Mike challenge suggestion too, but mine is Mike Tyson's punch out without any dodging or ducking. Just stand there toe to toe with glass jab and take it.
Without any dodging or ducking.
Yeah.
So you can block, or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
So see how many characters you can get through just punching.
Okay. So you just have to punch, but you can't avoid any of the opponent punches.
Yeah.
You probably.
Has anyone done that?
No idea.
Well, I mean, Glass Joe would be easy still, I think.
And you can beat Von Kaiser because there's a lot of stuns. You could definitely do that.
That's what I'm saying. I think you lose after 3 or 4.
Yeah. Had I not grown up on all that old media, would AVGN and Cinemassacre be what they are? No, I don't think so. I think that's really what made it, was just the memories. Was having some kind of personal memory with any of the games helped a lot. Like I know sometimes I do games I've never played before, but a lot of them are ones that I just grew up on, and if it wasn't for that, then no, I wouldn't have been doing this all these years later.
Because if I remember correctly, I think I heard somewhere that Mike was the one that kind of encouraged you to upload those videos, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say he was like the first fan, because after I posted the, I mean, it was right after the Karate Kid episode. After episode 3, he's like, "Oh, this is great. You got to do more of these." And then he started taking care of the social media part of it when social media was kind of in its infancy. MySpace, yeah. And YouTube was brand new, and yeah, and then it took off after that. So yeah, he encouraged it to continue.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, I just thought of another, more like a request for the nerd. Could you do Middle Arms for PS2?
Middle Arms?
Middle Arms. Yeah. It's a real surprising game. It's an underrated game. A lot of swearing for a rated T game, so
yeah,
it'd be something to look into.
I've seen it before.
Hello? I just one quick question. What's your favorite Metallica album?
Favorite Metallica album?
Yeah.
Ride the Lightning.
Hell yeah.
I'm more than a Black Album. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but yeah.
This is about you did an underrated action movies episode. I think that was one of the best ones. I was wondering a couple things. How much of that was scripted, and were the things left out? Because you all presented great arguments from why they were there. And one of the funniest things was the reaction to that worm down bacon switch at the end.
Speed 2?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hate Tony.
And then also respect to you talking about Hong Kong 80s and 90s films, because those are some of the best kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope people got a chance to see Wasabi. That's it.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, read Jackie Chan's book. It's called I Am Jackie Chan, and he lived an amazing life, and it talks all about all these crazy things that he had to go through, not just in the movies, but also in real life. So yeah, definitely recommend it. One of the best books I ever read.
Try and launch it over to the other side if you can.
Alright, just real quick question. One of my favorite characters from the
Cinemassacre universe is Bad Luck Bootsy. Is there any chance that he makes an appearance again?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, right, I'm not doing board games anymore, so I don't think it would be that, but, and the only thought I had for board games would be a prequel, actually, so I'm not sure.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought it was like heavy.
James, so my favorite nerd episode is the Batman one.
The what one?
The Batman one.
Batman, yeah.
Mike was so great as the Joker in that. It's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so my question is, have you ever considered doing a nerd episode or any of the Dizzy games, like Fantastic Dizzy? That there's so many games in that series. Like there's so many games.
Wow.
Like half of them are garbage.
Probably in March.
Oh.
Because we talk about one accidentally. Probably. Yeah,
Maybe,
nothing's
we'll
written
see.
yet. Maybe, we're not sure yet. But
The thing was with that game is like, you could get killed by a spider but jump off a 3-story building and live. Like it was really, it was the one from my childhood that destroyed me.
Oh, cool, thanks.
Alright, hello? Alright. So for the 160-ish episodes that you guys done, I just want to know, what's the creative process that you guys have for all the insults that you do?
Oh, insults? That's just...
I mean, a lot of ad-lib.
Because some are works.
Yeah, a lot are ad-libbed. Yeah, after all those episodes, a lot of stuff they were all scripted, but there was ad-libbing sometimes.
I mean, like, a lot of the ones in the wrestling episode were scripted because they were just like long frames.
Yeah,
Ric Flair.
It just comes out of my mind somewhere.
And is there a specific insult that you're proud of, that you're like, yeah, I emotionally scarred this video game?
A specific insult? That what?
That you were proud of.
Oh, a specific insult I was proud of. Gee, I don't know. I think it's all for you to decide which ones you like the best. I just kind of throw it all on the wall, see what sticks.
What was the episode that had the curse word that was so bad that you couldn't visualize it?
See, it's funny hearing that stuff. It's like it was so long ago since that episode and hadn't thought about it in a while. Where like, there's so many at this point. Whenever I'm reminded of one of them, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But now I kind of feel like an audience member where I get to hear my own joke after all this time, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why that's funny. But when I did that, I wasn't thinking of, no, oh, this is great, because there was a word. There actually was like a made-up word. It was just another completely made-up word that means nothing.
And then you bugged it.
Yeah, it was a word that sounded bad. Like I was trying to think of and now that I forgot it, it's like lost it, like forever. No, I do remember it. I was just trying to come up with a word that just sounded like a person, sounded awful. It was skunked. I just made it up. I don't think it. I don't think it had a spelling. It was just like I don't think it's a real word. Never heard it, but
I think skunk would be with a K. Yeah.
You have a lot of stuff just sitting around like in the back, like capes and things. Do you think you have the mini DV of that?
Oh, me saying it without censor?
Yeah.
Probably.
It's funny.
It's cool. Yeah.
I have a question. I watch a lot of your videos and stuff, and especially like your special effects and all that stuff, and all episode after episode and stuff. I'm a beginner in YouTube. Mostly I have a YouTube channel called SoCal Nerd, and I have a question. What's the software of choice for your YouTube videos when it comes to video editing and special effects and stuff? Like what your software of choice?
Oh, video editing and effects? It changes all the time. I'm actually not the best to ask because I'm like a dinosaur with that. I used Final Cut 7 up until recent history, and now I mostly use Adobe Premiere. but sometimes they go into Final Cut because they each have their advantages. Final Cut 7 is an Apple software, and they've never updated it since then. So now it's like 10 years old. They made another one called Final Cut X, but Apple's idea now to update something is to just completely throw away everything out and make it a brand new software. So Final Cut X is nothing like any other Final Cuts. Adobe Premiere is actually more similar, so most people transition to that now. Although Adobe Premiere does not run very well on a Mac, I found it to be extremely glitchy. I have problems with it all the time, but it's, for me at the moment, it's better to just deal with the problems than to get a whole new computer, because I think you have to get a PC to run Premiere smooth, because you guys don't have problems with them, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it seems to run much more stably on PC. There's a lot that we did with the storage and things to make it faster too, and just really nice processors and stuff like that. But yeah, it took planning when we built the PCs to have them work really well with Premiere.
I'm
Premiere.
an Apple fan myself, but I use Premiere when it comes to software, but I do get
Yeah, Premiere's fine for the Mac, I guess, until you're doing a lot of weird stuff and weird codecs, because you're not using ProRes, it gets mad on Apple stuff, but we use Premiere and After Effects for everything. Mostly Premiere, because we'll just green screen it and not give a crap, because, you know.
But if you're looking for help or guidance on your YouTube stuff, Justin and I are doing a panel tomorrow where we're basically gonna just be unfiltered YouTube stuff, wisdom, thoughts, and audience interaction and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
it's a
streaming thing. So yeah, I'd love to talk about your channel.
I met you earlier today, and I have to say, I really love your show.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. Do you ever take requests from your fans if they ever come up to you and ask you to make a video on a certain game?
Yeah. When I get requests, I sort of, when I hear the same game more than once and I start to memorize it, as it starts to sink in, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been hearing a lot about this one, maybe we should check that out. So it goes like that. Yeah.
My favorite thing when people request a game that was already done, or a movie that was already reviewed, even though we've only done like 25,
Cool, we're going to take just a few more right now, because it's 5 now.
But is there a panel after this one now?
I think this is it.
Right, so we can go like midnight is what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Ever thought about going back to the history of like how you went through certain things? I mean, you kind of did, but maybe like the 90s and the different eras and stuff like that.
Just the history of like Hollywood films?
No, I mean of your bringing up and stuff like that, and like how you got to where you are and stuff like that.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking. In a book form, yeah, I'm actually writing a book
cool.
on all that in its base. This is all the stories that happened, all of the trials and adventures in filmmaking. And
all right, awesome.
Yeah.
I got a few more good questions here.
Quick question for you.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
this goes to the nerd here. Being through this whole lifetime playing all these type of games, nostalgia, retro, all that stuff, right? What is one game you can remember growing up? If they brought that back today, right? Just out of the old blue, you'd be like, wow,
A game that we make a sequel of, or something that I'd like to see done.
It could be that too.
And one that hasn't been done, they haven't brought it back. That's the tough part. I'm trying to
But
think.
if they did, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think.
I want a new version of like Soviet Strike, Desert Strike, those helicopter games. I love those freaking games as a kid.
I just came up with this, but what would really blow my mind, Michael Jackson Moonwalker with all new tracks.
Yeah. Boy, I don't know. I mean, what would really blow my mind, I guess, I have to go really obscure, like Round 42, which is like this old DOS game. if they would make like round 52 or something else, I'd be like, whoa, like, that's not gonna happen, but that would blow my mind, yeah.
And we have time for one more question. Let me see who's, okay, this guy over here waving his hands like a maniac, he's been doing it the whole time. Can you hit that guy? Do it. Yeah. Go long. All right. Yeah. Oh, is that a Game Chaser shirt? What are you wearing?
Oh no, it's I work for a nonprofit called Woodcraft Rangers.
Oh, that's more important, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I have a couple, I'll just shorten this to one question. Would you ever consider taking a look at the Devil May Cry games? Those are very like Gothic style action games that I think like very much in the vein like Castlevania, and I know you love Castlevania, so they also make a Devil May Cry anime. So I don't know. I was wondering if you consider taking a look at those.
There's a new one coming out.
There it is.
Oh, maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think Devil May Cry would be good because DMC's, the anime is really funny. You get like strawberry sundaes and stuff. And 2 is 2, so there's a lot of, and 3 is just so over the top. There's a lot of fun you can have with that. I would be more interested in doing one AVGN stuff on Metal Gear, like solid, but that'd be a lot of research. I think that calls it, Carl. Oh, okay. Well, one more question. Here, come over here next.
Yeah, one more. We'll just do it right here.
There you go. Last question.
Hey.
Hi, Mr. James.
Yeah.
I love your videos. Get me through a lot since I'm going through high school and stuff. Everybody knows it's like an emotional roller coaster there. And I just love watching your videos because I like relate to you and somebody like raging at games and stuff. Because like who doesn't, to be honest?
Cool.
I had a question. Can you just sign it?
You want to sign it?
Yeah, can you sign it?
Okay. This will be my last signature for the day, but I can do it, yeah.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
And there's 2 signing times tomorrow. So meet us there, and then we're going to do the Screen Wave panel tomorrow night. So just check the schedule.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll see you signing tomorrow. Anybody who hasn't come on up yet?
What the heck does that mean?